Hello, and welcome to the Dublin Nurse podcast. I'm your host, as always, Jonathan Giles. I'm joined this week by my regular guest to the show, Eamonn Donnelly. How are you, pal?
Evening, Jonathan, evening, Craig, evening, Matt. Tuesday night, I was watching Emmerdale Farm there. We used to watch it in Leeds United. Apparently, they're going to do a soap opera for London in a few years' time. On the East End. I'm all right. I'm good. I'm in good spirits. And you know, bloodied but unbowed, as they'd say. You know.
Not your usual Tato crisp. I'm also joined by Craig Smith. How are you, Craig?
Johnny, how are you keeping?
I see you're going into meltdown mode, so we'll get to you soon. No
meltdowns.
And also by our new guest into his third show now, Matt Bourne. How are you, Matt?
All right, mate. How are you?
Not too bad. Thanks for joining me tonight.
No worries.
As always. Only a few more shows to go, lads. This one next Monday and then the following week. And then we've got our quiz night again, Friday, June the 2nd. So something for we're going to try to get the fans involved as well, the viewers and listeners here as well. So hopefully it'll be a good night. Hopefully we get a few more that we didn't get the last time. So try to make a good end of season show. As always, you can catch our show on the Dublin Arsenal YouTube channel, Spotify, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Check out our sister show, Beyond the Last Man, with Martin Stone, but he hasn't done one in a while, so hopefully you get one out soon enough. He's just looking for guests, so if any of you are interested, stick your hand up and get to watch the Arsenal women. They mightn't break our heart like our own. Check out our sponsor, Balon Sports Direct. They have a good range of ironing gear, so check them out. And check out our friends at showsarsal.com. They're well over 1,000 subscribers now, so they're fine. Pat McLaughlin is doing a good job. And also check out the River Bar in Dublin City Centre, where you can catch our last couple of games in the Premier League. I know myself and Matt are going on Saturday for the 5:30 game against Forest. Are you heading yourself, Eamonn?
I'm undecided on that at the moment. It depends on a few things, you know. Maybe I'll be watching the game, you know.
Yeah, super. And Craig, are you heading in yourself, or?
I'm actually working, so unfortunately I won't be.
Right, so it looks like it's me and Matt. So.
You guys working the weekends, huh?
Yeah, that's true.
There's plenty in there. Plenty of people in there.
Yeah, it's been a great atmosphere all season long, so hopefully that continues. On tonight's show, we'll be reviewing our 3-0 home defeat to Brighton, and also previewing the Nottingham Forest game on Saturday, 5:30 on Sky Sports Premier League. Straight into the show. Goals by Enciso, Undab, and Estupiñán for Brighton in the second half. The result didn't really flatter them at all. Myself and Eamonn were at it. I thought we were second best to every ball on Sunday. Brighton just stifled us really. Their pressing was really good on Odegaard, and Saka was well marshalled by Caicedo and Estupiñán. What can you say about the 3 goals? Just poor. The fourth one was really bad. Enciso does not mark the box. Undab had, I don't know, he put in nearly walked the ball in. He had that much time to finish it off as well. Finished over at Ramsdale, and the Estupiñán goal, Ramsdale should have just parried it well away. It was a bad save, you know, and look, he's not the only one at fault Sunday, Ramsdale, you know, but the ball out to Trossard, and I don't know why Trossard was trying to flick the ball past. I think it was Gross or McAllister. Can't remember now, but it's just sloppy from us on Sunday. I thought the result against Everton, the Everton result, the City game, sorry, against Everton, results played on their minds a bit. I think they know the league it's over probably before Sunday, but it's completely over now, in my opinion. The league will be over by Saturday evening. I think Forest probably got something against us as well. I wouldn't be surprised if we lost that one as well. Just really shocking, you know. I was really disappointed now with the lads on Sunday. I thought Alden didn't play well at all. Craig, I go to you. You were at the match as well. How did you see it from your seat?
Yeah, look, I don't really know where to start, to be honest with you. It was just one of them games where, you know, you're kind of lost for words. You know, starting lineup, Tierney coming in for Zinchenko, you know, Zinchenko gets a lot of stick. Now, look, sometimes maybe rightly so for the way he gets caught out sometimes defending, but he offers you so much going forward, especially in midfield. As you know, the third man, and we really missed that. You could see it in the build-up play, you know, in the first half. Even the whole game, I should say, you know, we didn't create enough. You know, we normally at home we normally have 6-7 good opportunities, but you know, I could maybe count on one hand the amount of opportunities we had that were actually decent. Maybe 2 or 3 of them that were, you know, you might have got a goal from. First half, I think, was pretty even. Their midfield done fairly well. McAllister, you know, is a great player, so whoever gets them, whether it's looks like Liverpool and Man United are both in from, so you know, whoever gets him is getting a very good player. The first half as well, Matoma played in the right hand side up against Tierney, and he didn't get a sniff. I think after about 30-35 minutes he switched wings and he went to left hand side, and he got a lot of joy out of Ben White. Ben White is probably one of Ben White's first games for Arsenal. You know, I've been a big fan of Ben White all season. I think he's been very good, but you know, it kind of, in this game, it kind of showed that Ben White, you know, is still a very inexperienced right back. So maybe coming into the summer might be a position that we might get another player in, you know, right back or a centre half. He might be able to play on the right back as well. But first half, yeah, I thought it was pretty even. I thought it couldn't go either way. The game was very, very stop start. I don't know if you felt that in the stadium, but the atmosphere couldn't get going. The team couldn't kind of generate a rhythm, and you know, fair play to Brighton. I think they stopped play a good bit. You know, their players are going down, and they were quite solid. You know, they weren't open. Whereas the week beforehand, they got thumped 5-1 against Everton. So it's a funny game of football. You know, they can lose 5-1, 5-1, 5-2 to Everton, sorry, and then they can come and beat us 3-0 at home. But I was just gonna say one thing. You know, like, yes, the league is gone now, and Man City are going to win the weekend, and they'll probably, you know, be confirmed as champions. But the game wasn't lost. The league wasn't lost in this game. The league was lost, you know, with the result at Anfield, West Ham, and Southampton. You know, them 3 games kind of messed the league up for us. You know, and look, like, the only kind of positive we can take from this is that next year, if we're in this position, we might have learned, Guab might have learned something, the players and the manager. So I think a few of the substitutions he's made and maybe team selection that he's went for the games, you know, maybe didn't do us any favours. But again, I'm just hoping that come this time next year, or down the line, hopefully we're fighting for the league for the next few years, that we can learn from this. But second half, Brighton absolutely destroyed us. You know, they're a super team. Zerbi has been playing some great football, some smashing players. You know, like any team in the Premier League will take any of their players. You know, they're that good. Even the substitutions that come on, you know, I think the striker Undev scored a goal that was Brett Trossard's and Ramsdale's mistake. But yeah, you know, I don't even know what else to say about the second half. But just come the summer, I think we definitely need a few reinforcements that our Premier League proven that can maybe push us on now, because I think even though the squad has got us very far this year and challenging for the league, I think there's 5 or 6 there that can go, be pushed on and sold, and get better, you know, and stronger kind of solid players in that can maybe help us challenge City, you know, going forward.
Yeah, I thought as well the tackle by Caicedo with Martinelli when he got injured was a bad one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a bad one. You know, Caicedo played right back. You know, that's not his position. He's centre mid, so it just shows you how good that player is. I think there was a reason we were in for him in January. You know, hoping we could probably get ahead of the others that may want him in the summer. Sorry, the dog is howling there now. He's gonna get a kick in his minute. But yeah, he's a smashing player, and hopefully we can get him in the summer along with Rice. But yeah, it'd be difficult. I think a lot of teams are looking at him.
Did anyone stand out for you, Craig? They were really poor. I know on Sunday.
Yeah.
I'd struggle now to get a man of the match over myself.
But really struggling now, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Which is poor,
Yeah.
because we haven't had this in weeks.
But you know what? I'll give it to Reece Nelson, because for the 25 minutes he was on, he did very well.
Yeah.
The rest
didn't do. He's creative,
nothing, you know. But the goals you conceded, Johnny, you know, they were very poor. We've been at home, especially, you know. There's only one team that's conceded more goals than us at home, and that's Southampton. And that's disgraceful record. You know, for a team that wants to be challenging for titles, never mind getting top 4, that has to improve. You know, I don't know what it is. I don't know, maybe if it's the pressure at home, if it's, you know, playing away. Do we concede less because, you know, there's less pressure to win away? Maybe I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, but that's something next year we definitely need to improve on. Yeah,
I know. Eamon said beside me as well, we play better away than we do at home. You know, the pressure just be lifted. Yeah. Look, they've given us so many good things to shout about this season. You know, we've only lost 5 games, and the 5 we lost, we were well and truly beaten. So that says a lot as well, you know. Eamon, you were sitting beside me on Sunday. How did you see it from your perspective?
It's weird, because I don't think you can do a whole lot of analysis on this game, because it's very simple. We were second best in all departments. That's the analysis.
Eamon,
we're just second best in all departments. That's why you can't pick a man of the match. We were second best in all departments.
Do you think the game was lost before the game started, Eamon?
What's that?
Do you think the Man City result?
Well, I was going to get onto that. But what I was going to say was that the devastation that Man City inflicted on everything, I think, actually did kind of bring a whole funereal thing to the game, you know? Probably with the team, and even the crowd were a bit flat, and the crowd haven't been flat all season. I don't think it's that we gave up. I think we tried. We tried okay, but I just think that subliminally, I just think we went out with the league lost. And you know, I can understand that, because as a fan, I went out with the league lost. So the human brain is the human brain. It doesn't matter whether you're a fan or a player. If the human brain thinks the league is lost as a fan, you can imagine that the players probably felt the same thing, and we were just a bit flat. And you can try and do your best to combat that. And okay, the first half was even enough, but we just looked like a team that wasn't believing that we were going to win today, right? And I can understand that totally. In fact, I had a point at half time, which I never do, and it was almost as if I was kind of going, well, you gave us a great dream, lads, and I know it's over, you know? So it was a bit like, if we had gone 1-0 up, one or two of those half chances we had in the first half, it would have brought everything to life, I think. And that didn't happen. And I think we all knew when it was 0-0 at half time, the dream is over. You know? But I have to say, it has been brilliant this season. The team allowed us to dream for the first time in seasons, in many, many, many years. Since 2007-8, they allowed us to dream this year, you know? And it's always a bit of a punch in the solar plexus when the dream goes flat. But they've given us a lot of stuff this year. Isn't the fellas like Jamie Carragher, right? Or Carragher, as they call him in Liverpool, right? And Arsenal don't have what it takes because they play too emotionally. Well, I'll tell you one thing. He didn't know what it took. He never won a Premier League. You know? Yeah. And maybe if he'd played more emotionally, he might have. Like, are you seriously telling me that we didn't enjoy the emotional void of all those exciting wins with the team connecting with the crowd and us all getting on board? The emotion that team has given us this season, has been unbelievable. And Matt and I we spoke at the Newcastle game when we were sitting together, and we kind of knew this mightn't happen. Probably won't happen. But we were so proud of the way the team went out against Newcastle and the emotional journey that it's given us.
Yeah.
And who could say they didn't enjoy that? And I got back to a game I was at under the Unai Emery reign, early doors. I was away at Fulham, and we won 4 or 5-1 when Ramsey got that brilliant goal. That was a bing bong bing, and the fans all started singing, "We've got our Arsenal back," which I thought was incredible disrespect to what Wenger had done over many, many years.
Yeah.
And we've got our Arsenal back, as if Wenger took our Arsenal away. Come on, lads, let's get real.
Yeah.
You know, Wenger gave us our Arsenal.
Yeah.
He gave us our Arsenal. George Graham gave us our Arsenal. Herbert Chapman gave us our Arsenal. You know, but what I can definitely say is this season, when we all get over the disappointment, we have our Arsenal back. We have our Arsenal back. The trajectory that we're on, and I think Craig touched on this, we ran out of squad. Learn, add, improve. And last season we used the hurt that we had from not getting into top 4 to make us better. This season, let's use the hurt we had from just coming short to make us better again. Add quality players to the squad. I'm not so sure about Craig's point, and this is just a view, Craig, about Premier League proven. I think it's a kind of a mix and balance. Trossard was Premier League proven. I think he's done very well for us. Jorginho was Premier League proven. I think he's done very well for us. But there was a meltdown when we didn't get Mudryk. He's not proven anywhere. No. So I think it's kind of a mix and match, Craig. I think it's more of get an eye for a player who you look at over the next 3 or 4 years, who you think has all of the tools to make a difference. And if you can add somebody who's Premier League proven, great. Fantastic.
I agree with you to a sense. Like, I do agree it has to be a mix, you know, but I think this summer, because of, you know, where we finished in the league, we finished second very strongly, challenging for the league. I think the caliber of player we have to go for this summer is a lot higher than we have in the past season. So I don't think going for, you know, 20, 21-year-olds and spending money on them, I think we're kind of past that now. Like, I think the likes of Royce, Caicedo, etc., are the players we should be going for now to help us push on, because, you know, I get your point in the mix, you know, but if you go for a 21, 22-year-old, say, from Spain or England or Italy, say, just for example, we don't know they're going to do as well as a person that there's no bankers and anything. If you go for a Premier League proven player, there's no guarantee. But I just think to get to Man City's level, I think we have to get a bright Premier League.
No, we understand that. Like, I mean, I've talked about the 5-phase plan for the last 3 weeks, right? And we're at the stage now where we've ticked all the boxes on the trajectory we're on, and we need to add better players to what we have. The question is, who are they? I think that the current structure of Edu and Arteta has done quite well in that department. Now, we all talk about Royce and Caicedo. You can't get the 2 of them. You can't get it. Well, any Arsenal fan who thinks we can get Royce and Caicedo is delusional.
No, I'm not saying we're going to get them.
I'm not talking about you being delusional, Craig. I'm talking about the wider world. I'm saying it's one or the other, because remember, we have come up short against a team whose gross domestic product as a club is bigger than some countries. Yeah. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
They have 2 teams. They can replace world class with world class. But on a word of optimism, most of their mainstays are 31 plus. There's going to come a time when they're going to reach to the toolbox and it's not going to be there. Gundogan 31, De Bruyne at 31, Mahrez hitting 32. You know, so we've got to trust what we're doing, right? And I think I think you're right, Craig. You want, if you could get players who are Premier League proven at 24, 25 years of age, it would be absolutely. Declan Rice would be a great signing, absolutely great signing. And I think he would fit
Do you
into
think it
our
will happen?
DNA. What's that?
Do you think it will happen, or do you think it's going to be another Mudryk saga?
I would say probably yes.
That's inside information there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think so, but I'm reading the guys who do have inside information, and I think it's probably more likely than not.
Yeah.
And I think that would be a great thing. And then if we can pick up other guys, you know, the scouting department at Arsenal, they're not mugs. And before you ask me, Johnny, Craig got it spot on. The only person I could give man of the match to was Reece Nelson, because he did genuinely inject something into the game that we didn't have.
Yeah. In fairness, when he did start against Forest and Bournemouth in particular, he got goals there, didn't he? You know, anytime he's been given the chance this season, he probably more than likely might move on in the summer. Who knows? No, but I like him. Yeah, he's we were just outclassed by the better team, and that shows how far Brighton has come under the Serbi. You know, I think, in my opinion, they don't deserve to be where they are in the table. They look more like a top 4 team, the way they possess the ball and all. It's different when you're at the match. When you're at a match live, you know, you see it from a different view than on the telly. You know, they're so tall and so athletic. Me and Eamonn just pointed that out to each other at the match. Brighton are so fit and so strong. Every one of them. You know, even Evan Ferguson looks like a tank. He's only 18. You know, Matt, sorry, you've been waiting a while to come on.
Okay.
Disappointing result on Sunday, Matt. How did you see it from the TV?
No, it's streets apart, I suppose, from the last couple of weeks when we've talked. You know, we were all upbeat and everything was great, and we were still in with a shout. And now it just feels like a funeral and everything else. Well, I think in perspective-wise, and both of the lads have brought up different points in relation to it, but if we were, you know, guaranteed 4th at this stage, we'd be fucking celebrating it, you know. That's what we wanted, you know. 8th, 5th, 2nd is a fantastic return, you know, for the last 4 seasons, and throw an FA Cup into there as well. I think I want to apologise for my prediction of 3-0. I didn't realise it'd go the other way, but there you go. I thought Brighton did to us what Newcastle wanted to do to us, and we didn't let them.
Yeah.
So I think Newcastle, that could have been a Newcastle game on Sunday, and we didn't let Newcastle do that to us, but we just let Brighton run all over us, and they deserved every bit of it. We were sloppy. Our passing in the final third was very bad. I think Mitoma, Craig said about Mitoma when he went over to the other side, White could not handle him at all. Now, that is a reflection on Ben White per se, because he's had a fantastic season. But he just got outdone. You know, that was his worst game since his debut, basically. And everything went wrong in the game. I totally agree with the lads. I had it written down here. Nelson's cameo. He's the only bright star in the whole performance. I thought they were sloppy everywhere. Saka and Odegaard weren't playing well. They weren't connecting as well as they usually do. There was some very sloppy passing in around the box. But look, lads, it's a very, very you know, it's a tough lesson in the Premier League. We went the last 8 months toe to toe with a club, like Eamonn said, who have the GDP of a small country. You know, we went toe to toe with them. Nobody else could. You know, everybody else fell away. Look what's happened to Chelsea this year. Look what's happened to Liverpool this year. I know Liverpool are pushing on a little bit now, but we went toe to toe with City. Liverpool did that for a few seasons in a row and got one title out of it. You know, this is our first time doing it. Like Eamonn said, our squad is very young. City squad is getting old, and the future's bright. You know, a few additions to the squad in the summer, I think can make a massive difference. The club has made me very proud this year, and I know it has everybody else. And we've got to build on that. You know, it is what it is. Only one team can win the Premier League, and if you're up against a team who, you know, could outspend Luxembourg, then what do we do? You know, this is it. We have to just put up with it and be happy with our Champions League for now. I know of Tottenham fans have been bombarding me all weekend and today with abusive messages. But look, it is what it is. And we have to just build on it next year. We've still got a very, very young squad there. We've got some amazing, amazing players. You look at Saka and Martinelli and Odegaard and you know, the way they have played this season and scored this season. We score from all over the pitch this season. We're very high scoring midfielders. It's just been fantastic. You know, players like Xhaka, who have, for whatever reason, just turned into superstars. You know, that we never expected. You know, players who were going to leave, players who you never thought would show good, showed good this year. But we've got to build on it, and we've got to add to the squad, and we've got to be deeper. You know, we've got to be able to, as good as Reece Nelson was when he came off the bench here today, we want to be bringing on your Declan Rices, you know, and your Casados or whatever else, you know. I think in the certainly in the first half of the game, Eamonn said this last week against Newcastle, that we did more with our possession. We created more chances with our possession. Brighton were better, but we created more when we had the ball. And then just fell apart for the second half. Brighton completely outrun us and absolutely deserved it. And Jonathan, you're dead right. A team like Brighton deserves to be up higher in the league. You know, They really do. They've been absolutely fantastic what they've built there. And fair play to them. They totally outplayed us. It was absolutely, you know, hands up. Nothing we can do about it. You know, we just move on. But we're you know, City are going to win the league now, probably the weekend. But with 3 games to go, we have taken them all the way.
Yeah, I think it's a warning shot for the game in hand coming up for Man City against Brighton. They won't have it all their own way, Man City against them, you know.
No.
I think they probably will edge out Brighton, but I think it'll be a closer affair than what Everton gave Man City. Everton seemed to just cave in after half an hour.
And you even look at the, you know, before Sunday, I was looking at the recent scores, and I had it in my head about the West Ham, like the Liverpool away, you take a draw at Anfield. You know, I know.
So they made a point, Matt, in the Telegraph today. Sam Dean he seems to be an Arsenal reporter for them, as he always reports, you know, on the Arsenal matches. He was saying it was Xhaka's getting riling the Anfield crowd up with that.
You know what?
You have to agree with him. If that didn't happen, he went on to win that game. You know, and it was a stupid thing he done. And he went there and put.
Disagree.
That's just lazy journalism.
Yeah, I disagree.
Lazy journalism.
It is a fair point.
The usual easy, soft parking. Get away with yourself. I'm not having it. It's bullshit.
He lifted the Anfield crowd.
That could have gone either.
Yeah, he has. You know, look, he has to.
Bullshit. I tell you, Sam Dean. You're talking about journalism. Who the hell is Sam Dean? Who's he?
After the match.
I'm not entertaining this rubbish. No, Jonathan. That's all, Jonathan. Stop now. That's all sensationalism. Sensationalism. Let's find somebody to blame, and that's what the English media do.
Yep.
So to pinpoint that Granit Xhaka moment, Alexander Arnold was the culprit there, by the way.
Yep.
Look, Xhaka was wrong.
No, hold on now. We reviewed the Liverpool game.
We could have just walked away and just said,
Jonathan, stop.
As usual, fuck it up.
All I can see is your mouth moving. Stop. You reviewed the Liverpool game on this show. Sorry, Jonathan, will you stop talking for a minute? We reviewed the Liverpool game on this show. Jonathan, please. Control yourself.
This is the word according to Eamonn. All hail.
Absolutely. I'm not, by the way, I'm going through. If you play back that show, your own show that you host.
Here we go.
If you play back that show, you and I both agreed that was nonsense. So don't come on here on your own show. Now, taking a backtrack. Like, the whole thing against Liverpool was a collective. They got a goal before half-time. They pushed us backwards. You can see what they've done since. They've won 7 games on the trot. And they've hammered teams. Right? It nothing got to do with the Granite Jacket. That's all Jamie Carragher, Sam Dean, Rod Little nonsense. Absolute nonsense. And if you want to bring this show down to those levels, grand. If you want to go down and sink to the depths that Jamie Carragher goes to, man, I'm only trying to give you an intelligent opinion here.
Well, Johnny's looking for Jamie Carragher's job.
No, but you can see,
well,
there was
once you start spitting outside of cars at women, well, he can have it.
Yeah, no, the reason, what I was saying there anyway, in relation to that, before this went totally to shit.
I can't sit beside Eamonn at another match again as well.
A few weeks ago we went to Anfield, we drew 2-2. We were all very disappointed because we were 2-0 up, but you take a draw at Anfield any day. Absolutely.
I think it's because we were 2-0 up, Matt. It was just so annoying.
I know. Absolutely, I get it. I think, but if you look at the West Ham and the Southampton games, when we drew the 2 games that we should have won, even if we won them 2 games, City's goal difference is so far superior to us anyway. So it wouldn't, them games wouldn't have mattered winning them 2 games as such. I think just to stir it up a little bit, when you talk about the Xhaka incident, that could have went either way, that incident. That could have got Liverpool shaken, or it could have got us shaken, or whatever. I don't think there's any reflection on Granit Xhaka in relation to changing anything there. He came out the next game and he was an absolute superstar. Or the next
are you listening?
Games so I can't hold anything against any Arsenal player this season. Considering the performances they put in, they've just been phenomenal. Ramsdale, for instance, again, he put out a very bad pass there on Sunday to give away. Was it the second or the third goal?
The second goal.
Second goal, was it? Sorry, yeah. Passed out to Trossard, and he does a lot of that in games where he plays that little short ball out, and players have lost out in it, and we've conceded from it. I think he needs to work on that, but you're looking at a goalkeeper here who nobody thought would be any sort of keeper. He has been phenomenal. Xhaka, of course, is coming towards I think if he stays for one more season, he might. I
think Matt Fabrizio just come out there this season and said that he's gone this summer to Leverkusen.
This summer?
Yeah.
Is he?
All right.
Your man Fabrizio Romano.
Yeah.
Listen to him. Yeah, he won't go.
Well, Johnny, I'm not being funny. If anyone's right, it's normally our man Fabrizio.
He told us that.
I always go with Ornstein.
He's pretty accurate when it comes to these things.
Yeah,
I think he'd be.
No, Johnny, I believe he's gone. The club have had enough of him now. He had one good.
Is it because it's a Liverpool incident?
We need to move on now from the likes of Xhaka.
Sorry, Craig. I just want to stop you there. What do you mean he's had one good season?
No.
He was outstanding last season as well.
I wouldn't agree with that.
You even had the same haircut as him.
I wouldn't agree with that. I wouldn't agree that he's been outstanding for his career. Like he's had a decent career.
I said he was outstanding last season and he's outstanding this season.
I don't think he was outstanding last year.
He isn't a class midfielder, but when he did the 4th season he joined Craig, he was brilliant. When he scored.
Let me tell you something about Granit Xhaka. He is the guy that every young player says has been an inspiration to them.
Yeah.
Don't underestimate what that can do in the dressing room.
Yeah.
Right. So we can get all these careless kickaballs that you think are fantastic, right? But don't underestimate what character can do. The character that Granit Xhaka has shown since the day I was there, when Arsenal fans were an absolute disgrace, booing them on.
I'm not doubting.
I was in the ground that day. No, I was in the ground that day, and I actually turned around and got into a row with people who, to my mind, have no business being in the ground. Booing your own players off. Let's have the conversation about it afterwards and say they were crap. That's fine. But when you're in the stadium, you have no place booing your own players off. And if that's what football has become, do you know what? I'll just watch it on television from now on. And I'm gonna
look. It's actually 7 years this year. He has had a decent career at Arsenal, but like let's not forget, lads. He did let us down a lot of matches before with the red cards and that. You know, so you have to remember those sort of things. But it looks like he is moving on this summer. I think we will get another maybe 2 centre mids in to replace him. But you know, look, he you know, if you have to mark his career out of 10 at Arsenal, I'll give him a 7. You know, which is fairly good. You know.
Yeah. I think it's easy to look back on the season now. You know, like a week ago, we were talking about how great all the players were, how fantastic seasons they've had, and you know, now it's all well and good to start looking at it and go, you know, but he's shite really, and he's done, and you know, he needs to move on, and blah blah blah. I mean, I just think it's, you know, they've outdone all our expectations, you know, and it's you know, throwing blame around is all well and good, but I don't know. I think someone like Xhaka, like Eamonn said about the, if you saw the All or Nothing documentary, which I'm sure you did, Xhaka really impressed me with the way he dealt with younger players and got them riled up before games, and you know, spoke to them even when, you know, he wasn't captain or anything else. He was always there in the dressing room and getting everybody going. I think he's done a great job the last couple of seasons.
He's done a good job, Matt, on Xhaka in particular. Granted, Xhaka, he's done a great job on him this year, you know, because he's transformed him. You know, as Craig says, he hadn't had the best. Yeah. And to be honest, was he even playing in the right position in those seasons as well? You know, since he's been
season as well to, you know, to get around the pitch, to get more forward. Yeah. So he was assists and he was creating goals as well. So, but look,
I thought the best game for him, I think, was the 2 what he set up for Odegaard at home to Chelsea there a couple of weeks ago.
That's only a few weeks ago. He's been doing that all season. Like, I mean, Granit Xhaka is a product of Mikel Arteta's coaching. The turnaround in Xhaka has been a product of Mikel Arteta's man management and coaching, right? Mikel Arteta sees in Granit Xhaka that he has leadership quality. Okay, he doesn't get everything right in the pitch, and he has let us down on many occasions with red cards. But it is invaluable in a dressing room. I go back to 1989 when we won the league, and we got Kevin Richardson in, and all Arsenal fans said, "What in the Jamin Nazes are we doing getting him in?" He went from Everton in the 80s who won the league to Watford. A total downgrade. And we bring him in to try and win the league. But the influence that guy had on younger players was incredible. All of the younger players, Paul Merson, Michael Thomas, David Rocastle, they all spoke about how impressed they were with Richardson's attitude to the game.
Yeah.
Right? Granit Xhaka is not a world-class player. But I tell you what, he's got a world-class attitude. And he will come back. I guarantee you. I might lose my hair over saying this, right? I guarantee you, he will be back in 8 to 10 years' time, and we'll be interviewing him on the pitch as an Arsenal legend.
Yeah,
I'm telling you that now.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Eamonn. I think his leadership skills and what we're going to lose off the pitch and on the pitch, you know, we will be missed in that sense because, you know, I think the younger players definitely look up to him, but it is a little bit of a worry. You know, you are losing a leader there in the squad, and we put.
And why would he go? You know, why would he go? You know.
Well, I don't know. You know, it's probably family circumstances or whatever, but the major reports are that he is going back to Leverkusen. Johnny,
Craig, at 31 years of age, after giving us 7 years, right? He's probably thinking of himself at this stage and saying, "Okay, he can get a big money contract somewhere else." Would you blame him? I wouldn't. No. He has lived his Arsenal journey. He joined us when we were in the Champions League, and he was part of the team that got back into the Champions League. Yeah. So there's a kind of a beginning, a middle, and an end to all this. Yeah. You know, and
it's sad to see him go. Yeah.
If he goes, he gets nothing. But I think most Arsenal fans. I was at a game one time. I think we played. It was just after COVID, and every time he hit the ball, there was naysayers going to be, "Oh, great pass, Xhaka. You managed to find the player." I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, what planet are they on? You know. Yeah. But I think I think most Arsenal fans in the stadium, say on Sunday, if Granit Xhaka decided he was going to hitch up and play for another team, I think he would go with our very, very best wishes. I think,
Yeah.
Yeah, look, he's been a great servant to the club. Yeah, he would have been really.
Can I just make one point just on something Matt said? He's been getting it off the sports fans this week. Well, I've been getting it off the United and Liverpool fans who call bottlers. Now I'm going to show you 2 league tables to see who the real fucking bottlers are. So this has gone back 11 years ago. With 4 games to go, Man United were 5 points clear. That's bottling it. That's bottling it. Not what we did. That's bottling it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And another one as well, just to show. This is the league table after 35 games. Liverpool were 5 points clear and needed 1 win to win the league. They also lost the league.
Don't slip.
Don't
slip.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, no doubt about it. And to be honest with you,
hypocrites, I tell you.
The Tottenham fans that are slagging me, and there's one in particular who is just relentless. You know, they haven't won a league title since 1961, which is closer to the 18th century than to now.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely, they won the league in black and white, man.
They did win the league in black and white. Yeah, it's that bad. It's that bad.
Craig and Jonathan, do you know what black and white was?
Yeah.
That was the television pictures.
I'm drinking it now. Guinness.
Is that a song?
Black and white was the best there, and the Woody pictures there.
I have to say,
1961.
There's a couple of Liverpool fans in my job saying that this is a false position for Arsenal. We'd be down in 6th place next season.
Of course we will. Lads.
Isn't it great, lads? Isn't it great to see opposition fans bemoaning us now? No, you know, they're worrying about us. We're a threat now again.
But do you want me to sing now? I was dreaming of the past. Jealous guy. That's what that is.
Look, jealousy gets you nowhere. And let's just hope that we live up to this season or we're fucked. No, to be honest, I can see he's winning the Champions League next year. I tell you, Craig, me and Eamonn said it's easier to win the Champions League than it is the league.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, Spurs got into a Champions League final and they're crap.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Tell you, it's
need a lot of luck, don't you,
the possible isn't impossible. You know, we probably go out the group stage, but
when William joined Arsenal, didn't Arteta tell him that he'd win the Champions League within 4 years?
He did.
Yeah. You know, so we shall see.
Look, it's been a great. Let's be honest, lads. It's been a great 3.5 years he's had as coach already.
Yeah.
You know, like, let's be honest. We never thought we'd be this far ahead. You know, of the rebuilding process is really well in gear now. I think if Granit Xhaka does go, I think he'll probably be the last of Arsene Wenger signings, won't he? That's still there.
Can I ask you the question? Just maybe it's a little bit early to talk about this because you don't know who's going to sign and that, but you know, are you a bit concerned about the Premier League, Champions League transition next year? No.
If we strengthen right in the summer, add another 2 or 3 players, you know, to call on, I wouldn't be worried. No.
Okay, so you have to look at the owners there, Craig, and say they have backed the manager with investment.
Yeah.
We're going to have to, if we want Declan Rice, we're going to have to pay 85 million for him. Not 120 million. We're going to have to pay 85 million. And if we spend that, you can't then go out and say, well, we spend 85 million on Caicedo as well. It's just not going to happen. So you've got to be prudent in certain ways. But I think if we added 4 players to that squad, I think we have a real chance of being competitive on both fronts. I really do, you know. Yeah. And I think I think we need to get kind of quite sanguine about this. I think other teams should be looking at us saying, how are we going to get over them for the top 4? We shouldn't be saying, how are we going to get over Chelsea for the top 4? Would you give me a break? Would you? Seriously, how are we going to get over Tottenham for the top 4? They're a mess, right? Man United are behind us in their trajectory in terms of they needed to burn the house down the way we did, but they only started realising that recently.
Yeah.
Man United fans are convinced that they get a striker in, they're going to challenge for the league next year.
Listen, I think they're delusional, to be honest with you.
They blow very hot and cold under Ten Hag as well. You know, they can go on a run of 2 or 3 games winning, and then they can lose 2 or 3. You know, it's a very odd season they're having.
I would recommend one particular striker to Man United fans.
Harry Kane.
Roy Rice. Roy Rice. Roy Rice will get them. Roy Rice will get them there.
He's under contract to the Rovers. He's never leaving. You know?
Yeah, he signed one of those lifetime contracts. Todd Bowley gave him back in
the Rovers, yeah.
Manchester Rovers, you know.
Yeah. I think we should bring them back out of retirement. What a team! I never remember.
To get Roy Rice and Johnny Giles, they might win the Champions League.
Yeah, I looked. Wenger turned me down in my heyday, and I'd never go back. No, I have to say, myself and Eamonn were in many Emirates tournament that I scored goal after goal. We were just lucky not to win it.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what now. I was playing in front of you, and remember, you went down like a roll of lino, but you still got the saves in, you know. Anything that I let through, you dealt with, you know. Apart from the 7 goals you conceded, but apart from that, you know.
That was in my heyday. I hate to see what it would be like.
I have to say, Jonathan, you were very brave that day as a goalkeeper. You were really brave, and I'm gonna say that to the viewers. You were brave for actually turning up after the night you had before.
There's no one fucking else wanted to go and go.
I'm gonna tell Matt and Craig. I'm gonna tell you, I'm walking down the Holloway Road with my kit bag, taking this seriously. Like, we're playing on the Emirates pitch in an international tournament, and then the next thing I see, a taxi going by with 5 or 6 guys. You know, Paul Brown was stripped in his gear, even though he wasn't going to play. Right? I think the rest of them were drinking cans. Like, I'm thinking, what am I dealing with here? You know?
Who did he think it was? John Terry? Did he?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, John Terry.
I think, to be honest, Paul was more warming up for the bar than he was the pitch.
I was eating green peppers at 10 o'clock in the morning for the big vitamin C, and I see this taxi going by me. Eamonn! In fact, if the licensing laws
says, "Who am I playing with today?"
I'm telling you, if the licensing laws back then had been the way they are now, they're going in for a bottle of wine.
No, I have to say, I don't think Eamonn played the year before that. Until Walcott's brother was actually playing, and the 5 side I made a fucking cracking save against him. I think we got to the quarterfinals that year. I think we got to the final with Eamonn. We came close enough. We scraped the bottom of the table.
Jonathan, are you on hallucinogenic substances?
I feel the Terry Venables one is coming out.
Nah, Terry Venables not. No.
Sadly,
He's speaking about the great player. He's got feet. He's got an head, and he can go high and low. Anyway, what else are we discussing?
No, so after Sunday's 3-0 defeat, we talked a good bit of discussion there in that one. We're in second place on 81 points, and City are top with 85. The title isn't over yet. We can still win it by 2 points. I still think City can slip up. I'm still living in hope. Anything can happen. You know, you still have to keep believing. I'm not giving up yet. I have 100 pounds on this tournament. As I see Eamonn there, so frustrated. We move on to Nottingham Forest away on Saturday, 5:30. Forest are coming into a bit of form, aren't they? They won 4-3 against Southampton there a couple of weeks ago in night football, and they drew 2-2 against Chelsea there at the weekend. They're currently 3 points from the drop zone. I think they're probably going to stay up first. I think they'll probably win. They'll they probably get a win on the last day, you know. If they don't beat us on Saturday, I think they're safe enough. I think Steve Cooper's done a pretty decent job considering he's had 22 players to mix in, you know, in a season, which is always difficult going. And we won 5-0 in October against them. Reece Henson got a couple and a Martinelli. I'd like to think that we'll go out there on Saturday after the defeat on Sunday, like Brighton done after they lost Everton. I think we'll put in a performance and get the fans back on side, you know. Anytime we've lost kind of like that, we've come back pretty strong. So I'd be kind of thinking that 3-0 to the Arsenal. I think we'll have enough to beat Forest and keep the title dream still alive for another weekend. Eamonn, how do you see it going? Do you see a big performance?
I'll do this very quickly. I know Mikel was very hurt by what happened at the weekend. So rather than just put our slippers on and see the season out, I think both himself and the players will want to respond and get 6 points for the next 2 games as a thank you to the fans.
Yeah.
Because he apologised to the fans for what happened at the weekend. And on that basis, we're better than Nottingham Forest, but they're struggling. And I'd go for a 2-1 for ourselves.
Yeah, I can see it performing. Matt, how do you see it going on Saturday?
Yeah, I was completely wrong with the result the result on Sunday, obviously. But yeah, I'm going to go for a 3-1. I think, they will be very, very hurt to what happened. I think they'll go out and they'll put on a good show. Forest are struggling, but they're after getting a couple of good results recently, and they're probably on a bit of a high. I think they're almost there, almost safe enough. So they will be looking to fight for the 3 points, but I don't see them bothering us too much. I think we'd be too strong for them. So I would hope a 3-1. Thereabouts.
Yeah, you'd expect a strong performance, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Craig, how do you see it going yourself on Saturday? Do you see a big response from Sunday's defeat?
I do and I don't. I think it's going to be a very, very tough game. Forest needs some sort of result, I think, to stay up. So I think they'd be bang up for it. As for their players, because they want to respond from the weekend's defeat, but I think we've struggled against Forest in recent times, especially in the FA Cup. I think they beat us twice over the last 4 years. And the fact that they probably needed to win a lot more than we do, my prediction be 2-2. I think Forest will make a point against us.
Yeah, it's
just like you can look at it both ways. The players come out and respond to last week's defeat, or they kind of feel sorry for themselves, and it might end up in a draw or a loss. Like I think we will be Wolves' last day of the season, which if we got a point on Saturday and a win the week after, we finished 85 points, which is an unbelievable season, But I just think the fact that they really, really need a result, I think this might end up in a 2-0.
Yeah, they're tough to beat at home for us as well, aren't they? Yeah, you just never know what way we'll come out, but Arteta, I'm sure, will be telling them over the whole week.
He make a lot of changes on Saturday. I think he'll make a good few changes. I think he needs to, because the players didn't do well last week. I think there's a couple of players that can come in, and maybe deserve a little bit of chance.
Tierney might be a problem. I think he was holding his hamstring there, wasn't he, near the very end as well? He pulled up there, so hopefully he's not. That could be his last game for Arsenal by the looks of it. Newcastle are knocking on the door in Villa. It's a bit disappointed as well. Briefly, some of the fans leaving early on Sunday as well. After what the players have given them all season, I thought they could have stayed around. Like you'd expect that at the end of last season. But I think that probably hurt Arteta a bit. After all the effort they put in over 36 games, you think you'd stick to, because that was the only game you could say this season, aside from the 2 City games, and they were marginal in itself. But that was the only game I've seen us really not perform of all 36 games, you know. So it's a bit disappointing to see the exodus there, yeah.
Yeah.
The Arsenal women won 3-0 against Brighton at the weekend. So that kind of eased the wounds a bit. Is there anything else, lads, you'd like to mention tonight, Arsenal-wise, or anything else?
Quick one I'd like to ask you all is, you know, players who are going to be leaving in the summer. A lot of players who haven't been getting game time. You mentioned Kieran Tierney. Emile Smith-Rowe, do you think he's going to leave?
I can't see it happening, to be honest, no.
I think it will move on the summer, Matt. I think we need to get rid of a lot of the squad players. You know, I love Emile Smith-Rowe, I really do. And I think he's going to be a smashing player, but again, like, who's he going to start ahead of next year?
Yeah, and you look at it, you're
right. Can I ask you a question?
Can
I ask you a question? Right.
Go on, yeah.
Just in the transfer market, what do you think we should get for Emile Smith-Rowe?
I think realistically, you're talking 45 million, and then hopefully, if you do sell him for that type of money, are you going to get a buyback clause?
Hold on a second now. Just flesh this out now for a second, right? So West Ham are looking for 120 million for Declan Rice, and you're telling me that Emile Smith-Rowe is only 1/3 as good as Declan Rice?
No, so you think you get more than 45 million for Smith-Rowe, do you?
I think we should keep him, by the way, because I think he's a superstar.
Yeah. No, we should keep him.
But if I was selling him, I wouldn't take anything less than 60 million for him.
I agree with you, but we haven't been good sellers in the past, have we?
No, but that's the past.
Here's one for you, lads.
People need to understand the product that fucking Edu and Arteta were handed was a shit show.
I agree with you.
Right. Emile Smith-Rowe. Imagine if Chelsea wanted to sign him. Hang on a second now. Let's just talk about Mudryk versus Smith-Rowe, shall we? Right? I know I'd rather have him in my team.
Yeah.
There's your answer. You know?
Yeah.
So we still don't know, Eamon, in fairness. We still don't know what Mudryk's about neither, because he hasn't had
but we do know what Smith-Rowe's about. That's the point.
Look, I think, being honest with you, Craig, is a point. He could be another Jack Wilshere where he constantly gets injured. Is he worth having around if he's not going to get a full seat? You know what I mean? Like, it's a fair point. But
you don't understand the game. No, if that's your attitude, you don't understand the game.
Well, why?
Why Jack Wilshere?
If you got a good price,
listen to me. Listen, your mouth is frozen, but you keep talking, right? You're like a choppies.
Why wouldn't you sell him if you got a good price and you could buy Rice?
The reason why Jack Wilshere was one of the most outstanding players of any generation.
He was great.
Jack's injured, yeah. Sorry. I can hear a squeak in my ear. Jack Wilshere's problem with getting injured was he was so brave. Jack Wilshere's problem was he was so brave on the ball. He was so brave on the ball that he took it too far into contact and his ankles got hammered. That was Jack's problem. He just took it an extra touch into contact and everybody knew he was that good and his ankles got hammered. Liam Brady was a bit better than Jack Wilshere. Liam Brady got rid of the ball just before that. That's the difference. That's the difference.
I just want to make 2 points, Eamon, there. Just one, I completely get where you're coming from. I love Smith-Rowe, and I did. You know, he's an outstanding player. But one, the last 6 or 7 months when he's been back fit, he hasn't got as many minutes as he should have. So I don't think the boss trusts him as much as the likes of Saka or Martinelli. And then two, if you do keep him for another season, which, you know, next year, and he doesn't get many minutes again, his value depreciates. I think because he had such a good season last year, you know, when he was fit, I think his stock is high. I think he might get 45, 50 million. And I think if that's going to fund a second midfielder or Rice, I think you have to do it.
Yeah.
I would. No, I agree with you, Craig. But I would just go more than 45 or 50 million. If West Ham are looking for 120 million for Declan Rice, well, I can tell you.
Yeah. Like if they're looking for 120 million, I think 60 and Smith-Rowe is fair, you know, because I think he is worth 55, 60 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry I brought it up now.
No, it's a discussion.
no,
No.
I just, when you see a player like,
To be honest, he was one of the players, Matt, that the Telegraph mentioned today. Emile Smith Rowe out the midfielders, and Thomas Carty is one that
Who mentioned that? Georgie, who was it?
The Telegraph, they mentioned the ones that they
No, who's the journalist?
it's not Sam Dean again.
It's Sam Dane again, is it?
It is, yeah.
The one who blamed Granite Jack. I mean, come on, like.
If
If you can't read any journalist, seriously now.
Who would you get?
I'm
Who
gonna
would you
say
get?
it, if you're going to read any journalist that
Sam
haven't
Dean
know,
he's a very respected journalist, and
he's a great journalist, fantastic. But if
he's
you're
not
gonna-
a Rod Little that runs off with a young one from his missus, right?
if you're going to read any journalist that has an inside knowledge about the Arsenal, I don't mean the online
He
ones.
actually had tries at Arsenal when he was under Wenger.
And,
I don't know if that's... Sure, I had tries, and I made it to the starting 11, but I had to turn it down.
if you're going to read any journalist that knows anything about the Arsenal, right?
Eamon Donnelly.
No, I'm not a journalist. Although you're the wannabe journalist. Like,
I have to say,
any journalist that knows anything.
Making Eamon walk into his P45
Sorry, folks. Read either John Cross in the Mirror or Amy Lawrence.
Yeah.
Read them too,
No,
and
I
you
have to
get all
say
you need.
Sam Dean is for me. He's a top journalist. He did say we wouldn't win the league. There you go.
Yeah, well, so did Gary Neville.
He also wanted Mikel Arteta out for Antonio Conte last Christmas.
Oh, listen. Yeah.
So did you, by the way.
Who would you get out of the forward? So, Matt, would you get rid of Pepe and Balogun?
Well, I mean, I'd certainly. I don't think Pepe is going to come back anyway. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
And Balogun has done well in the French league, but it's the French league.
Yeah.
There's a massive, massive difference between that and the Premier League. And so if they could get a few quid for him, it wouldn't bother me too much. He hasn't been in the first team, and they're able to get 25, 30 million for him. Fantastic. I'd hate to lose Smith Rowe, by the way. I'd absolutely hate to lose him. Sorry, Steve just decided to show up here.
Right, Steve, what do you think?
Yeah, he doesn't. But I'd hate to lose Smith Rowe. I genuinely would, and I'd hate to lose someone like Nelson as well. I love having homegrown players there. I love players that come up through Hayland, come up through the youths. Play together for years. It's great to see in a club. I've always said that whenever Arsenal were successful, they always had a hard core of homegrown players. They always had your Adams, your Parler, your Rocastle, all these players who the club meant something to them. They came up through the ranks. They wanted to be there. They're there since they were, 8 years old. They signed for the club. Like what Saka did and so on.
Rumor today, Matt, that he's going to Palace to I don't know if to replace Zaha or Gwyn as a kind of option, and because that has been around this summer, it looks like.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you. It would be sad to see him go, but I think as a squad player, he'd be very good to have, But if he goes on to someone else like the likes of Palace or a West Ham or something like that, is he gonna have a better career there? I don't think so.
Are you talking about Nelson? Are you?
Yeah, Nelson. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I'd love him to have a good career. He did have a. Eamon brought it up there a couple of weeks ago. He had a bad attitude for a couple of years, and couldn't break into the squad and that. But he has come in this year on a few occasions and actually done pretty well. And he's got the kind of, I don't know, he's got a bit of a Saka vibe to him when he plays, and when he plays the way he can. He controls the ball very well. He can cut inside very well, like he's shown a couple of times this season. I'd hate to lose him from the squad, and I do understand that he's probably going to move on. I've no doubt he'll move on. But I'd like to see, keep him maybe for another season, see if he can develop, see if he can push his way into the squad at all, maybe to challenge Martinelli or back up Saka or whatever else, rather than spending the money on a massive name signing who, like Mudryk, is not, may not adapt to it, Players with Arsenal in their hearts are the ones that, I'd like to have a good number of them in the squad. But look, it is what it is. We'll have to just see. Same goes for Smith Rowe. If he's not getting game time, he's going to want game time. I'd love to see him stay there. But, if you're going to bring in someone like Declan Rice, it just makes his chances even less again, So we'll just have to see. Unfortunately.
Yeah,
Anyway, look, there isn't much point in brain aching about all this, because we're going to finish the league. I think Craig is probably right with 85 points. There's not much point in brain aching. No. Let the summer be the summer. Let's just enjoy. Let's just enjoy what the team brought to us this season. And what they brought to us this season was hope, excitement, passion, commitment, and a sense of belonging. The connection with the team and the fans was something that, Craig, you probably never witnessed.
No. I think that's why
I haven't witnessed in decades.
I think that's why I hurt a lot this year, Eamon, because as a young fan as such, 27 years of age, and I'm not young really anymore, but
you're holding out well, in fairness to you.
The connection, your father will tell you, the connection between the team and the fans this year, and that's something generated by Arteta and Edu.
But the young fans have been generated as well.
I don't know if Johnny, it might be a bit before your time, but I read something today that there was something similar in the George Graham area where they came very close to winning the league, and then the summer came and George Graham got all the wannabes out and then replaced them, and then they won the league the year after. Am I right in saying that?
Well, we won it in 89 and then we won it again in 91.
Yeah, but 87, 88, we were in that kind of phase that we're in now. Like Liverpool were as good as Man City are now.
Yeah.
And 87, 88, we were their likely challengers and we fell short, And 88, 89, we did something different,
Is that the year you got rid of Charlie Nicholas and all? The year before?
Yeah.
And that was controversial, wasn't it?
Well, Charlie was our darling. Charlie gave us excitement in bad times. You got to remember this, Matt, you can remember Charlie lit up our lives when we were shot.
Absolutely.
So you got to remember this, Look, it doesn't matter now. Look, the message I'm leaving viewers with is they allowed us to dream. And the dream is over.
It's the hope that kills us.
No,
I never get excited like this ever again.
Johnny
Giles is going to see the show out singing "I'm a Dreamer."
I'm a believer.
I think I'm going to give you a piece of personal advice on this show, because we're a kind of humanitarian show. I'd like to think you need to take a step back from it and say they at least allowed us to dream, and we're going in the right direction. So let's all stick together with a unity of purpose and keep moving forward.
I have to say, you never hear it better said. In terms, hopefully, after Saturday, lads, there'll be an abundance of Wolves tickets, so contact Eamon if one comes about. No, I think, to be honest, regardless if the league's over now, I think it'd be a full house, Henry. I think the team deserve, good send-off. Yeah, without all
to applaud that team off the park for what they've given us this season.
Yeah. Here, look, the aim was Champions League football, and they've achieved it. So it's mission accomplished for this year at least.
Yeah.
My only regret about this season is that UEFA didn't come along and say it's only top 2 into the Champions League.
Yeah, wouldn't that be something?
That would have been nice.
Imagine if City got 15 points deducted out them on the last day.
By the way, it was in the early Wenger years when it was only top 2.
That's right, it was only top 2. Yeah, you had to qualify. It was only the tour team qualified, wasn't it? True qualifiers, was it?
Yeah. Craig is doing yoga on the couch there.
He's doing Zen.
Anyway, whoever killed that.
You've got here in your head, Craig, so you've got one over.
It's what you were saying, Eamon, about the top 2. If you recall, obviously, most Arsenal or most older Arsenal fans will remember you had the European Cup, you had the UEFA Cup, and you had the Cup Winners' Cup.
Yeah.
And they were prestigious trophies. Everybody wanted to win every one of them.
Yeah.
What the Champions League has done now, or what UEFA have done by, if you finish third in your group, You know, you go down into the Europa League. It's like it's go on. You can have a go at this shite competition as such, and it's demeaned the competitions. You know, you had the European Cup, which are top two. Yeah, the UEFA Cup, which are third and fourth, and you had the Cup Winners' Cup, and they were all prestigious trophies that people wanted to win. I think they totally destroyed. Champions League is a great competition, but they destroyed it with the
greed, Matt. You know, UEFA got greedy because they saw such a big product, didn't they?
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
I still think it was good when it was just the champions. You know, it's not really the Champions League really anymore, is it, when you've got shite in it at the start? Yeah.
Well,
it's exciting. It's great the way we can still qualify for it. You know, like it's exciting for us fans. You know, you get a chance to see. You know, we haven't witnessed this since 2016. You know.
But going back to Matt's point, and before we kill everybody from listenership, right? When we won the Cup Winners' Cup in '94, do you remember the euphoria we had?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because it was a European competition for those who won the FA Cup or the equivalent in their country, and it was fantastic. The Champions League was the start of this. Let's get money rolling in Europe, and look, it is what it is. But we're in it now.
Yeah,
we're not complaining about it because we're not in it, because we're in it.
Yeah, that's it.
Well made the continue. Yeah, so we'd be myself, Matt, and Eamonn will be in the River Bar Saturday. So anyone listening to this, you're more than welcome to come in. 5:30, and then we've only one more game there, 4:30, against Wolves the following Sunday. Then it's been a quick 9 months, I tell you that. I'd just like to thank tonight. It's been a long show tonight, so I thank the listeners for sticking us out. I hope we haven't lost the 3,000 subscribers during this hour-long show. I'd like to ask the listeners as well, please comment on any content that you like added to the show for next season onwards. Anything new will be welcome, you know, to make the show enjoyable for you as a listener. So please give any feedback, please. I'd like to thank Craig, Matt, and Eamonn for your contributions tonight. Much appreciated as always. Catch our show on the Dublin Arsenal YouTube channel, Spotify, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Thanks to Martin Stumble for editing and putting it up there. Without Martin, you know, there wouldn't be show up. Beyond the Last Man with Martin, hopefully you'll have a show back soon. But you can catch all the other episodes there on YouTube. Check out our sponsor, Balon Sports Direct, as always. JustArsenal.com, please check them out. Pat McLaughlin are doing a good job. And the River Bar, of course, is our official supporters bar. And to see us out, Eamonn, hit it there.
No, I'm not going to sing us out tonight. I think it should be, I'm going to give you one verse of a Radiohead song.
Oh, no.
It's like the one on Father Ted. Remember when Tommy Tiernan was totally depressed and he was gone, and Ted talked him up into seeing the positives in life. And then he got on the back of the bus and he said, could you turn on the radio there? And he got the following: wake from your sleep before your father hears us. Ted! That's it. Look, we're all okay. We're all good.
I think we've lost all our subscribers.
Right. Good night, lads.
Good night, lads.
Have a good week. See you next week.
Take care.
Thanks,
Cheers, lads.
Have a good week.
Cheers. Take it easy.